Hello everyone, my name is Han Xiao. This is the story of my life about how I became a character in my favorite game Galaxy. I opened my eyes in a lab where a scientist was explaining to me as how I am a slave to the Mungya organization and named me Zero. As to who I really am, I was a game booster who was isekai'd here. I made a living by leveling other people's gaming accounts. According to many people, I was the trash of the game. I did anything I had to do to gain money from the game. The game in which I boosted the character accounts is known as Star Ocean. To me, the universe of Star Ocean is more realistic than my life. I got a contract to level an account the time when I got isekai'd to this world and woke up as Zero. There was so much chaos and I tried to run away after waking up as I thought that's the only viable option. When the people started to control me and attacked me, I got the sensation that the pain sensitivity was 100%. As the pain sensitivity can only go up to 40%, I understood that this is no longer the game. They restrained me and locked me in a cell, where I found the game screen and understood many things, that this is the world of Star Ocean before the beta got released. And I was a test subject for them when they were working on human-based life forms. The supervisor Hyla came to check in on me. She made it quite clear another attempt to escape would be resulting in my death. I remember that she used to be called Goddess of Death and was the boss of version 1.0 of Star Ocean. They took me to another lab to run some tests on me, and I understood that I was in the prequel part of the game and the part of the Valkyrie experiment. They wanted to open up my brain and examine it as I was the first test subject to awaken. But as to Hyla's directions, they couldn't do it. They got orders to brainwash me and I had to think of something because I was even less powerful than a new player and only a level 1. Thanks to my luck, I found a library and started reading the books. They were quite interested in me, so they let me read those books, which had helped me to increase my stats, which would be needed to negate the brainwashing. My hunch was right. Even though I was an NPC, I could develop like a gaming character as I was isekai'd. When I was being brainwashed, I allotted my undistributed stat points and negated the effects of brainwashing. And even though I was not, I continued to act like I was so I could look for a chance to escape. As my room was not ready, I had to stay in the beauty's room. Hyla had requested to see her sister and was rejected by her boss. It resulted in her having very bad mood, and because of that she kicked me off the bed. From the next day onwards, I had to have sparring sessions with Hyla, who taught me basic combat in which I was slowly progressing. I vowed to become the strongest in the world and take revenge for the treatment I had gone through. Later Baroda became my firearm instructor. He slashed me with a knife every time I hadn't met his expectations. I had to bear everything for my life. After the training I had to go in for a bath in medicinal water which healed my injuries. It continued for a few weeks and the organization finally gave them the permission to dissect me and use me for research purposes. In the meantime, I learned how to assemble old guns. As Hyla saw talent in me, they gave me permission to get into the arsenal and repair old guns. As I needed more experience from repairing the guns, that was a golden opportunity. As the people thought I was no longer useful to the organization, they stopped monitoring me 24/7, which has given me great amount of time and freedom to gain more experience points. And I even tried doing some modifications to the weapons which would be useful for me. I repeated the process of assembling and disassembling the weapons, gave me more and more experience as I leveled up even further. Slowly they even took away my guns as the time is slowly nearing when they would use me for research. Every person in the organization despised us as we were thoroughly brainwashed and nothing but cannon fodder for the organization. More than getting afraid, I became curious as what would their expressions be when they would be destroyed by whom they thought was just cannon fodder. The next day I had a gruesome training session with Hyla as I learned that it would be my last day in the organization. As of the past, Hyla was the only one who was connected to me and felt about me as a person rather than test subject. And as she felt sorry for me, she thought beating me half to death would as the solution. As she couldn't see me die, she left to see her sister on the day. As it was the time, I tried combining many blueprints and got the perfect blueprint, which was a light mechanical arm. And now it was the time to show them the hell they have put me through. They took me to the lab where I was being dissected. I started fighting from the lab onwards. I killed all the main personnel who were in the control room before coming here as assurance. As the doctor was about to die, I gave him a final goodbye with a coy smile as he understood that I never went through the brainwashing and have been fooling them for the last 6 months. I took the doctor's access card as there were only 3 personnel with the access card and camouflaged myself in the clothes of the security personnel. But it wasn't successful and I was caught by Baroda and had to resolve to fighting as there was no other way. I ran into the machinery repair room and equipped myself with a light mechanical arm and broke into the defenses while killing Baroda in the process. It became a long process to escape the fortress in which I was staying for the last 6 months. After I escaped, they dispatched the Night Owl Squad, which was one of the main squads of the organization, to spot and kill me. This led to a gruesome bloodbath between me and the Owl Squad. They had a powerful sniper who injured me on my left arm, but slowly but surely I had took the control over the fight and started killing those officers. Because of the intensity of the battle, my mechanical arm broke. At that time in the organization, the team of the test subjects were given permission by the head, which was led by number 1, to pursue me and bring me back either dead or alive. It's been over a week since I fled the organization and camping in the forest as my resources are down to nothing by this time. It became necessary for me to leave the forest and get to somewhere safe. A kid holding a gun threw a net on me and tried to capture me, and I escaped it by breaking the net and punching him in the gut. I thought it was funny for a kid with a bent gun trying to capture me, but I was lucky enough to extract some information as to where the nearby settlement was, so I could trade some of the ammunition I had for resources. As he was just a kid, I let him go on his way with just a warning to never repeat things like this ever again, at least in front of me. And reached the Wanderers' gathering place. It was a place where I could trade the things in my possession for food and needs. Seeing the goods I had, people tried to scam me, in which a person came out as he couldn't see newbies taken advantage of and getting robbed of their money. His name was Hu Hongjun. As he was a very good man, he even invited me to his house to have some food and take some rest. I could easily understand that this guy was not a man who would cheat me, but sincerely true of heart. I had great meal there, which was cooked by his wife, and took a rest for around 2 days before I left the settlement. As I saw the kid who was trying to sabotage me was none other than his nephew, I didn't say anything which would put his situation in a hurdle and left the settlement. The numbered squad from the organization reached the settlement while searching for me and asked about me to the locals. And while doing that, they found the kid having my gun, which he stole the night before when we were sleeping. Telling them to answer the questions with nothing but the truth, as the gun could only be found there if I was the person who sold it or they got it from me. While I was checking my inventory, I saw that a gun was missing and went back on the track to get it. So these people wouldn't be affected by me being there. Even when they were about to die, they shown the organization the wrong way, so they could help me live, which caused them all to die. I killed a person who had betrayed the whole settlement, which died for me being alive. I knew the organization would come back as they couldn't find me in the direction they were pointed. So I thought about ambushing them in the settlement and using the gun of Mr. Hu. So the gun could take revenge for his partner, as this has also become a quest for me, which would also give me some experience points. It was like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. While they were returning, I sniped a truck's tires, so it would go out of control. One by one I killed the whole squad, and the person who was left last was number 1. Still, he was being the same person he always was and looking down on me even at the time of him being dead by M at a point-blank range. A call from a projector started playing, which was projecting the head of the Mangya organization, telling me to come back to the organization, and I would be spared, as there was no way I would ever go back to that terrible place. I killed number 1 and warned them to wait until I destroyed the whole organization on the day which we would meet again. I knew at that time I was truly weak to fight against the whole organization. It was still a journey in which I have to get more powerful to face them in the future. I started my journey to the Star Dragon Empire. I have to say bye to all of you guys. So thanks for watching this video everyone, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to know the next part of my journey.